Okay, I will now talk about, yes, we've been discussing Hubi. Well, you mentioned Hubi and IOTA, and the last half year I have been involved in more things that I'm trying to become an expert of, but the only thing I do is I try to learn as fast as I can. Since I met this guy down here, with not so much hair on his head, Hogne, I will talk about him in a moment, I've been learning faster and faster. So my name is Arne Peder Blix, and together with Hogne, we have built this, and we'll talk a bit about it. I'll spend half the time talking about what it is, and then we'll talk about what we are going to do with ICO. Can I ask all of you to stand up, please? Super. And now you can sit down, and then you have a bit of circulation in your brains, so hopefully we can get the show started. Thank you. So, back when Ethereum started, Ethereum had a Kickstarter initially when they got their funding to do what they are doing today. Hogne and me were already rolling, and we were trying to set up Friends Software Labs. And as we did so, we made a Kickstarter video, which talked a lot about what the project is and what it is doing. And I think it's quite fitting to show you a bit of that, because the video is very relevant still. And to understand what Friend is takes a bit of time. So I'm going to need also to wake you up a bit. We'll have more coffee in 30 minutes. So here's a little video for you that will hopefully give you an idea of what this is all about. Here we go.
In the pursuit of user-friendliness, today's operating systems have become more tailored to perform certain tasks. As a trade-off, the versatility and fidelity for users has suffered and left them with less control of their devices. All current operating systems emerge from and are defined by their hardware. Some are stationary, some are mobile, yet all of them are physical, unlike the internet. Today, we all compensate for the limitation of every device by adding more devices in order to be able to do what we want. Wouldn't it be nice if you could merge your devices into one seamless experience?
It's a magnificent idea that is long overdue. Creating the ultimate unifying platform is something that has been attempted and debated for a long time. Today, this is not only technically feasible, we're actually halfway there. What if we could use all devices as drivers and link them all together? Instead of trying to fit the whole world into one computer, why not make your own world computer? For this, we need the Friend unifying platform, and we want you to contribute to its completion. Imagine unlimited storage space and processing capacity. Imagine accessing resources provided by a dozen tried and tested operating systems from all over the world without having to worry about integration.
With Friend, people may safely share their computer resources. Some of the devices on the internet share statistical data. Some measure the weather, and some render 3D graphics. All these devices may become part of your macro computer. In the future, the internet will increasingly resemble a macro computer. A supercomputer only tells you that it's fast and that it can crunch numbers. A macro computer, on the other hand, is more about size and depth. What could you do with a computer the size of a planet? Now that's a macro computer.
Okay, so that was back in 2014, around here. And we did our first beta, let's see now, prototype. We showed it in this room, autumn 14. And the room was packed just like today. Some people got angry. Some people stood up and left the room. Some people sat here and were a bit shocked, and some people just loved it. That's when I understood that this is actually quite powerful. Then we got it to run in C. We basically scrapped the whole prototype and wrote it again in C, machine code. And as you see here, beta phase 1, since the Kickstarter didn't work, we had to do a lot of, this bottom slide here is for investors. It has a lot of, not this text, but it has a lot of explanations of the different rounds, because we had to do it the hard way with equity. And run around and get a lot of different investors to understand what this was and believe that we could actually do it. And at the same time, we were trying to understand it ourselves. So that was a challenge. So first open source release, RC1 release, and then we started to get some commercial interest, some very much interested people here. And the software license agreement, first one, started here, and actually this Monday, last 1 week ago, one of our clients is actually out there and getting their own clients, independent software vendor, using Friend in the healthcare sector in Norway, and signing up general practitioners, legekontorer. So 1.0 came out here this summer, and the white paper draft for the ICO came out just after summer. Because Hogne and me, when we discussed this back at the start, we understood we need to have integrity. So you can use crypto for that, but you need to have trust in a trustless world. So there's the blockchain for you. And then we'll also show you, we also need to be able to own our own data, have your own integrity of your own data, and that's why you need the anonymity. But you also need to have transparency in the register. It's just like almost thinking about voting in a democracy. You need to know how many votes are there, including all additional votes and utjevningsmandater, as we call them in Norway, to be able to understand who actually won the democracy. It's the same in an economy, in a closed economy, like a token. You need to have anonymity to be able to vote without repercussions. You also need to have integrity and all these other things. And in order to do that, you also need to have an integrity of an operating system that you can trust. So we're going to take this as far as it will go, that's for sure, and beyond. Our current biggest challenges is to do this transparently, compliant, and also in a way that opens the door for other Nordic and Norwegian entities who want to do the same, as I'm going to explain now. And so there's a big responsibility to do this in a fintech perfect way, hopefully as an exemplary fashion, and then at the same time do conventional growth. We have a great team, we have great tech, and we have decided to do this. That is why we will succeed. So we have some commercial clients, we have revenue, we have projects in a lot of different topics. Remember, this is an operating system. It's a new brand meta operating system, so it can do a lot of things. Partners, growing community. The blue and the dark blue is actually where people are downloading and using the open source version right now. So there's a lot of community building to be done and a lot of social proofing, a lot of technical proofing by a lot of really smart people who are looking deep into Hogne's cards and checking if him and the other developers are actually have actually pulled it off. This is a bit of a holy grail type of tech, so there's a lot of emotions. We have an outstanding team. I could talk 1 hour just about this. We have people from this guy and number 2 from the right here, David Pleasance. They ran Commodore in the UK when they sold 2.4 million Commodore 64s. Think about the network that these guys have. Just think about that for a moment. We have people with 40 plus patents. We have a guy who's written several programming languages, and the story goes on. So I'm never the smartest guy in the room when we meet. I'm just the most stubborn, maybe. So we are basically doing low-level integration and high-level integration, both on the server side and the client side, and in order to make it easier for people to traverse between the different silos. What we do is we take the existing operating systems and the web browsers, the best resources available from these, and combine them in one seamless experience in a browser. And the browser you can reach from any device. So you're also device neutral, and even if you're a developer, you don't even need to think about that. You can go directly to the terminal. So what we're doing, in essence, is any sort of operating system. And when we showed this 3 years ago, people said, that's not possible. You're lying. This is impossible. This is blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot of emotions. These are religions. They're not just operating systems. I think, how many here had a Nokia phone? Okay, that's a Symbian operating system. How many used that Nokia phone a bit beyond its normal lifetime? I'm sure I did, because I could operate it without thinking, because it was embedded in my brain how it worked. So when we talk to people, are you a Mac person? Are you a Linux person? Are you a Windows person? This is what we have to relate to and try to explain this to people who are already a true believer of one religion. That's not easy. We are asking them to become agnostic. Not easy. This is more about architecture. I'm not going to go in detail. In essence, we can, because of this structure, we can take anything from IoT sensors and old stuff, Fortran, COBOL, Visual Basic, whatever, and stream it up. All the old stuff and legacy stuff and Microsoft Office, Microsoft Project, Windows software, we can stream that into the workspace. We can take any cloud resource, wherever it is, wherever you have access to it, and combine it in the same browser workspace. And we can also, you and anyone can build natively in HTML in that workspace. So you can combine old, cloud, and new in the same. And when you lift this into the blockchain realm, interesting things starts to happen. So, are you still awake?
Welcome to the Friend Unifying Platform. Friend is the world's first open source virtual computer that puts the user in the driver's seat. And in this short video, I'll be demonstrating a very basic Friend workspace session. Now, the first thing you'll see when you log into your own self-hosted server or on Amazon Cloud or our demo server is the Friend workspace login screen. And you can access this from any device that has a web browser. Type in your login and your password, and you'll be taken straight to the Friend Workspace desktop. Now, this environment is fully skinnable, written in HTML5 and JavaScript, and based on a blistering fast C kernel. It's modular and can be completely customized, but here is the current default view. Now here, you will see disk icons. These can be mounted from all over the internet or your local area network. Google Drives, OneDrives, Dropboxes, remote disks, and you can access them all at the same time and move files between them from the Friend desktop on any device. The desktop also serves as an application launcher, complete with a dock. Double-clicking on a disk will bring up a view window where you can access your files and directories. And from here, you can view media, edit files, or launch programs. Applications on Friend don't ever need installing. Instead, they live on network remote or local drives, all run from our software store. And of course, they run on anything and can scale depending on the device. We have some defaults already included with Friend, such as Author, a Friend native word processor, which allows you to create and edit rich documents. Its native format is HTML, but it also works with Word and other Office formats. Friend Chat is our powerful peer-to-peer conferencing tool. It allows you to do multi-person high-definition video or audio calls for free. It also includes instant messaging and IRC. Again, it requires no installing, and adding another person is as simple as sending them a public share link over email, Facebook, or even IRC. And in the very near future, our Friend Cloud Studio software will integrate with Friend Chat and allow you to very simply record your own video chats, interviews, and conferences, and then we'll let you share them onto popular video sharing services, such as YouTube, giving you a very simple way to record your own interviews, vlogs, or podcasts. SVG Edit is a full-blown vector graphics package. This is a great example of native Friend software written in HTML5 and giving you the polish and power of a full desktop program. And you can see your Friend desktop at any time by simply dragging down the screen. And although using it is not a requirement, the Friend Workspace desktop also has a fully integrated powerful command line interface for the more technical users who feel more at home using something like Bash. And if you want to run legacy applications, you can use our Liberator software, which enables you to run Windows Server programs from within the Friend desktop. This will soon be expanded to allow Mac and Linux applications to also run in this environment, side by side with each other and Friend native software, merging all your platforms into a single workspace. And of course, it works anywhere. Want to run your favorite Windows applications on your iPhone? That's easy. The source code for the Friend Unifying Platform can be downloaded from GitHub to host your own server. We'll also have installers available for Amazon Cloud, VirtualBox, and many other platforms soon. Please watch our weekly Friend update videos that are released at the start of each week with Dan Wood and Adam Spring to find out all the latest news and developments direct from the Friend Unifying Platform team. And if you want to jump right in, please sign up for our demo server right now by heading to friendup.cloud. I hope you enjoyed this short demonstration of the Friend Unifying Platform. If you'd like to find out more, please visit our website, social media links, our developer forums, or join us anytime in our official IRC channel on Freenode. And thank you for watching.
Pretty cool. And it takes a bit of time to wrap your head around this, but I'm just going to speed up now and then explain, and we're going to move over to why we are here today. So our initial focus is to go for the obvious. It's to do integration, Citrix replacement of VMware Horizon. So this is what we call soft merging, and there's a guy sitting there, Rune Trengereid. He is the CEO of Friend Soft Merge, and if you have needs for any of this, talk to him. It's important when you work in the digital industry to reduce your cost of sale, automate sale. So what's better than to have a Friend store where these boys and girls can, rather than calling Rune every time they want an upgrade or every time they want to buy some more, etc., expand their service, they can go directly to the Friend store and buy more apps, add-ons, APIs, storage, and CPU, etc. We, as an operating system, of course, need to talk to a lot of developers, and when you read our white paper, which you will do when you leave this room, I'm sure, sometime today or tomorrow, or read it on Friday, because then the next version is more interesting and ready. The developers can make their own applications, APIs, and templates, as you will see, and sell them in the Friend store to these clients. And to the most difficult discipline of them all, to the consumers. And you've probably seen that our user interface is still a bit oddish. It's because it's developer funny, but you can skin this any which way you like to make it look fantastic. But that's user interface UI, graphic user interface stuff. and it's very expensive to do super high-end. So that's why you wait with this to the last. People who don't like green or don't like your logo will go to the next. You can't even stop them and talk to them and say it can change. So why are we going to do an ICO? Well, we planned this from the start. I think that's a very good reason. The second good reason is we can enable a lot of the blockchain technologies out there. And you have to remember, a lot of these projects are just like internet, Silicon Valley, 1995, walking around with the PowerPoint presentation, and all of a sudden, boom, they're funded. They're funded with ICO money, right? And there's a lot of quick funding happening in the ICO scene. The only trouble is a lot of them are then starting with 100% technical debt. They have a project, they are now funded, they have to do what I've done several times, get a team together, get them to work together. You've shown the plan, but now you're going to execute. You're going to start coding, and things are not going to go as you planned, and things are going to get difficult. What we do is, with the Friend Network and Friend Store, create a marketplace and an efficient bridge between the blockchain and off-chain worlds. I will show that. And in a sense, become a toolbox, a .NET for, or Azure, if you like, for Web 3.0. A plug and play for a zero-cost deployment for decentralized technologies. We do the heavy integration of all of these, not just the blockchain-based, but also the off-chain or conventional stuff down here with our Friend Core and our structure, and we put that into the Friend Network, and we give it a face as a front store. And then you can decide which application should run here, which application should run here, which application should run here, and you can change them. So we create the digital marketplace and interchange, if you like. We will accelerate the oncoming of blockchain. So what do we do today? We have a Norwegian company based in Stavanger. And into that company, we've been able to get roughly $3 million in equity, in hard cash. That's the funding job over 5 rounds. So it's been, quite a ride. So we built this company first. It builds the operating system, Friend Chat, and other applications. Friend Studios, building a lot of funny, great applications, which we can augment with. And then SoftMerge now starting to do integration work. This is the conventional world, and we have a lot of clients, users, vendors, etc. We have also released it in open source. With for those of you who are familiar, how many here are familiar with open source? Okay, some. So for those of you interested, MIT license for most of it, LGPL license for some of the libraries and APIs, and AGPL for others. And so this is a multi-license strategy where we sell it enterprise license commercially and open source to protect the IP and also to do what I'm going to explain now. So, wake up. Now we're going to talk about blockchain. We are setting up this company as we speak, almost done, in Switzerland. And the reason, ladies and gentlemen, that we have to do this is we've done a lot of research, and at the moment, it is not, there's not a sufficiently evolved and established infrastructure and environment in Norway to do an ICO here. There's too many unknowns. So having done a lot of equity work, you can look at my previous work in a company that I've built and stuff. I've been involved with IPOs a lot. And we just couldn't find a safe way to do it. But the ecosystem in Crypto Valley, in Zurich and Zug, and the legislation there is much more ready and mature for this, to do it safely, transparently, and compliant. So we are setting this up with the bank, broker, legal, accounting, auditor, etc. Then we are doing the ICO. It's an ERC20 compliant token on Ethereum. we will use the proceeds from this to set up the friend network and the friend store. Mark, that friend store conveniently has dipping its toes into the old world. But we're actually putting the machinery, the tiller, the ledger, the accounting piece and everything for a digital store here. Then we integrate with a lot of different blockchain decentralized technologies for CPU, for storage, for others. And we actually have to then build an interchange token between whatever token they have and our friend network token, so that whenever people go to the friend store, the users and clients, they have Ether, they get their friend network token, and they can seamlessly trade here and select services, and the payment arrives where the payment is due. That's one reason why we need a token, and of course on the Ethereum blockchain, you have the integrity and you have the traceability of all the transactions. Now, we also have other clients who will want to buy something in the friend store. So conventional clients with conventional currencies, which are called fiat. Sorry, fiat, I didn't do that. It's the whole cryptocurrency community are talking about fiat. Everything that is not cryptocurrency is fiat. So equity is fiat. So it's not just lira or euros or whatever. So these clients can then go here, get a friend account, and not dip their toes in the blockchain if they don't want to. They can just pay with fiat. So we have to make an exchange here as well. And there are suppliers of these exchanges already there. So we're not going to invent all the wheels all over again. That means they will then trade alongside everyone else, but pay in fiat. Some of these will also want to sell software and services. They will make an agreement with Friend Network AG and deploy them on the Friend Network and making them available seamless in the same environment. So this is actually bridging and creating cross-trade between the two realms. The Ethereum hardliners and blockchain hardliners are giving me and Hongin and others a bit of a beef because they're just over here. They want to turn off all the lights and have everything smart contract and have everyone to jump into blockchain and stay there. That's not how the world works. The world transitions. We're not talking revolution, we're talking evolution. You can't use blockchain for everything. You can use it for a lot. But to use it for the trust and integrity and traceability of all transactions here, yes, very good. So when a lot of our new friends in the blockchain world see this and talk to us, they go, yeah, that's maybe not so dumb. The question is, how do we do this well regarding tax, regarding all the other issues? Some key elements. So we have some of the best lawyers in this space in Zurich, because people who come from the onset of Ethereum and onset of the ground pillars of the blockchain community, they actually reached out to us earlier this year. It was part of Hoggen and my plan to reach out to them when we got to version 1.0. Luckily for us and for them, it's the other way around. So we are red carpeted into to a lot of the brightest heads in the crypto valley. And think about the crypto valley today. It's a crazy place. A lot of people wanting to do their ICO, some of which are pirates, some of which are very inexperienced, and others who actually have a very good plan and are very bright. I hope we are in the latter category. So our lawyers, they say, don't talk about initial coin offering. It's a token generating event. Enter the legislation and legalities and Security Exchange Commission, etc. They also say don't talk about initial coin offering, and call it initial contribution offering if you have to. But it's a token generating event. There's a lot of due diligence going on, white papers and etc. And the social proofing and the technical proofing is heavy. We're in the middle of it. We're getting, when you stick your neck out and you say this is what we're doing, you have trolls, you have hackers, you have ethical hackers, you have a lot of smart people having an opinion about what we're doing. So you get prodded. So like in the conventional world, there's a lot of due diligence, but it's done by people who actually know what they're doing. Which is just the way today is. Remember, there are only 55 million people on the planet who can understand between 0 and 1. Only 10% of them understand low-level coding. Only 1% of them, again, understand the inner workings of blockchain. We're talking about 50 to 100,000 people here, maximum, if that. So we have to comply, of course, and I have to comply then with the Norwegian law and Swiss law. Those are the two realms we are doing. But I also have to comply with the unwritten laws of the blockchain community. So, and some of them are anarchists, some of them are hardliners, and some of them are more pragmatic. So there's a bit of everything. And we are doing business, so we have to find a mutual ground here. A smart contract, which Alexander will talk about soon, is passive. So that means there is no financial intermediary. When someone decides to send Ether from one address to a different address, it's a peer-to-peer transaction, direct, no financial intermediary. This is the basis foundation versus KYC. Know your client, you know your customer. So KYC, which no one wanted to talk about here because it's difficult, is about how do you get the cryptocurrency? How do you get Bitcoin? How do you get Ether? It's not about what you do with it. Because every single Ether, every single Bitcoin, once it is generated, has a history from its inception until forever. Is that correct? Yes. So you can track back, but you need to understand who got it in the first place. Right? So, and for ICOs out there, and where Oscar, there you are. When you talk to the startup guys, I don't consider myself one, we are a bit beyond that. Don't have them ask for more money than they can use. It's tempting to do so, but it's not a very good way to operate. And a lot of money grabbing is happening out there, and the hardliners in Ethereum, they really don't like it. Okay, so for the final interesting part here, which hopefully we can use as example later on, we are Friend Network token. We are generating this token generating event, ERC20 token, so it's compliant or mostly compliant with Ethereum. Works there. It's a functional token because you have to have it in order to have a presence on Friend Network and the Friend Store. We believe this platform will become an efficient trade platform, marketplace between the blockchain and non-blockchain realms, bridging the two, and it's going to be a busy place, we hope. We will generate up to 1 billion tokens in return for Ether. We will not create more, no minting or mining afterwards. That means the 1 billion number is going to stay fixed in perpetuity. And it's not me deciding, when that is done, it's the smart contract, it's a program that decides this. It can't be changed. Well, you can, but then you have to basically get a consensus from all the token holders, right? So we are not going there anywhere soon. You can read about that in the white paper. So we are already in operation, as opposed to most of these other projects who are talking about what they're going to do. We're already there. So therefore, a lot of attention is on what we are doing because it will have more immediate effect. Most of the investments done in the token world today and ICOs is about what's going to happen 2-3 years from now. We'll be quicker than that. We believe that this risk is lower because of this. We have a lot of help in the community. And as there will be no more tokens and the activity will increase, there is, of course, a chance that the Friend Network token will appreciate over time. But it is a functional token. Sure?
So what's in it for the guys in the fiat world?
They can trade on the platform as much as they like with fiat. And they can easily utilize blockchain-based technologies, decentralized technologies, which is readily integrated, and pay with fiat. I'm just going to jump back to that very quickly. That means clients here, we have some clients here already who've asked us, Friend is great. There's a big company in China who really likes us, and they said, can we invest in Topco? And I say, well, that's kind of difficult because we're also working in the US and you are not so popular there. So why don't you buy tokens instead? Because then you will have immediate access to the Friend store anyway. And all of these our technology and all of these technologies in a ready set toolbox that is already integrated. So for the fiat holders, super. When it comes to of course, the owners up here, well, we actually happen to own this whole economy, and our plan for Friend is to do an equity issue here in 2018 to fuel this side, because I can't use money from here to fuel this side. Within reason, I can help that side with, I can sell software to it, and I can sell hours and etc. But whatever this economy generates of more IP, it has to own, right? So there's a balance. Did that answer? Thank you. I'll just end the last part before more questions. We are also doing pre-sale, which is to make sure that whales, there are a lot of VCs, there are a lot of investment banks out there. I know, I've already talked to a fund that has 3.6 billion US, who are very fond of a Friend. And you know, I would prefer to have a democratic token holder structure where none of the token holders had too many tokens. It's just like an IPO. You want to have a spread of your shares. We want to have a spread of the tokens, right? So I'm thinking IPO all the time when I'm doing this. And I think that's the safest way of approaching an ICO. So we want to make sure that even the small single developers, the freelancers, etc., have a chance to own Friend Network token. So therefore, we are doing pre-sale to make sure the brain power, not just the financial power, but the brain power of the community out there also have an interest and also are included. That's why we do pre-sale. And of course, we are also registering and social proofing of those who want to do pre-sale. Some of them are in the room and here today, and others are helping us a lot. So it's a community style of people who are paying it forward and thinking about helping Friend to become in a position where it can help them. Yes, more questions.
Regarding the store, you said users can buy whatever it's being sold in the Friend store with fiat.
Yes.
But could you tell us more about the token? What is the utility, the functionality of the token? What can you do apart from buying whatever you can buy in the Friend store? And if there's another function, can users of fiat use the Friend store as an exchange to acquire tokens, or do they have to acquire them from a...
They have to acquire them somewhere else. That is a registered business again. If you have Ether, you can get token by a smart contract, yes? But most of these tokens, including our token, are immediately traded. Ours will be tradable within 30 days after the smart contract has end block. And the reason for that is you don't want to have the day traders and the opportunistic guys jumping in just like you would want in an IPO, right? So one 30-day period to stabilize and make sure we dot the I's and cross the T's, and then you open for trade. So if you look on the internet, all of these here are tradable, and the volatility is high, for sure. And this is where a lot of the young startups are not familiar with how to communicate to investors on an open liquid market. Everything you do, everything you say can have an effect, right? And that's where if you're late, if you have technical debt, all these things, a lot of them don't have experience in that. I'm not saying I'm the best in the world in that, absolutely not. But we at least have a lot of great advisors and a lot of smart people helping us out how to communicate this. At the same time, it's a currency for the store. It's also an access key. It's also a lot of other things. There is also, when you read the white paper, you will see that the reason for this structure is plentyfold, because you need to be able to plan for the unknown. What if something happens with Ethereum? Well, you can go to the last block and you will have an overview, and then you can put that register on a different blockchain, right? There are possibilities. What if legislation jumps in here and makes it difficult? I need to be able to split this so that this entity becomes more autonomous, like a DAO, distributed autonomous organization. And that's also part of the intent is that this becomes more or less lights off, more or less automatic. That's the intention. So this is described in the white paper, and it's important because there's too much power here for anyone to hold, not for Hong and me, others. I mean, this is an operating system, right? So we have to make sure down the road, we're thinking ethical board, we're thinking, a lot of things here. But yeah, sorry. Other questions?
And so the tokens, what do they do apart from buying applications and maybe using the features of each application? Or is it that?
Read the white paper. I think we don't have the time. I'm sorry. I'm 10 minutes over. I think we need the coffee and a 15-minute break. Let's start here 5 minutes to 11. Sorry. Thank you.